ID. Reflections on the shiny glass, watching all the lifetimes pass. Nothing but the yellow lines, looking for the hidden signs. Keep the engine running deep while the restless city sleeps. Leave the broken world behind, chasing echoes in the night. Hold on. Drive into the midnight, lost complete control. Shadows in the neon, save my broken soul. Fall into the ocean, wash the pain away. Save my broken
Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, broads, dames, and bros, welcome to the Midnight Drive. The DJ, your old pal, your old three-armed pal, TikitheHutt. How is it going? Hey, we got RK, we got CB Cooper. How's it going, guys? So, I'm chipping away here. I've been painting up some models in the old army here, in the old Necromunda Vice army, but it's been a crazy time. The whole Orc Codex dropped. I don't know if you guys saw, if you're part of Morty and Glory's little cadre there, I dropped all the stuff that I came across in my Penal Legion ways. I think it's everything but the lore, so that's an extreme discussion. So what are we doing tonight? Well, so glad you asked. Disembodied voice in my head. What we're doing tonight is we are actually painting our warlord. That's right. This is going to be Light Colonel Sonny Crockett. So he's primed white because we're going to try and get his suit as white as possible. We're going to give him sockless shoes down there. We got him a auto pistol holster with Colt emblem. Give him a bunch of magazine pouches right here off a bolt action sprue. Kind of cover up some of the cutting away damage I did. We'll paint his shirt blue and we'll finish off giving him a white suit. Yep, got the needle pistol off a Necromunda House Escher box. Ooh man, I'm mispronouncing everything today. CB Cooper, how's it going, buddy? Long time. I literally just listened to Cooper's Company like probably maybe 20 minutes ago. I love that song so much. Yeah, so he counts as Primus for my army, and they come with a scoped needle pistol, which I thought was just like one of those like cute little weapons until I tested it last edition. I only got to use it once. I was doing a small little 500 on 500 and like a little 3x3 table, and it was absolutely lethal. Like when it actually got some shots off, that thing started hurting people. But we'll see. All right, well, we've had some other models painted recently. I'll show you one of our icon bears. Again, similar armor scheme, blue pants, black armor, leather jacket, white pauldrons. For her, I went with the Harley Quinn style red and black split pigtails. She's got a pistol grip pump on the back. So there's that's a neophyte cult, with an icon, cult icon. Who else do we have painted? I think we got, nice, just a regular neophyte with a drum-fed auto gun. Nice, simplistic. Some people have neon mohawks, some are just regular, just typical hive scum. All right. So I have the full squad. I have my full 500 points laid out. I just need to start painting all of them. Yeah, that was a cool model you got, RK, absolutely. One of the things we're hoping to do on this stream is Sarade, I want to say. I think that's his name. I want to make sure I try and get his name right. Hopefully I'm saying his name right, Sarade. He put out some really cool rules for playing in a more chilled narrative style. So we're going to take a look at... Morning covered those a little bit on one of his streams. We're going to take a little further look at them here in this stream and talk about them. And see what we can like kind of adapt and beg, borrow, and steal from him. It's kind of cool he did that. I did build another model. This is going to be a heavy mining laser. So the cool thing with her, the ponytail is kind of cool, but if you also look, she has one of these like metallic hands. It's like a replacement, like a cheap augmented hand. That's actually kind of cool. So yeah, we have our 3 neophyte squads. We have our Locust, our bodyguard. And we give her sergeant ranks, which is kind of cool. And then we have our Primus that needs to be painted. So I think this is what we're going to be painting on and working on today. And we'll start chit-chat about steps we can take to make rules a little bit more laid back. I actually saw one of the other channels is actually a little bit more, I guess, prevalent when it comes to jeans that are cool. I think he also does Imperial Agents and Sisters. But Von Karlstein, oh man, I always screw up his name. Let me look what it is. I feel like I'm always messing up that guy's name. Let me double check here. I did a post about it. I posted this video in case anyone wants to take a shot at it. So yeah, Christian von Kamian. So you know, guys, is the vampire VTuber. Yeah. So he put out a video like why I'm stepping back from tournaments. So and as we always say, there's nothing wrong with tournament play. If that's the way you want to play, that's fine. But I'm starting to see the same allegory. I don't think technically it's an allegory being used, and it cracks me up each time. People are just saying that tournaments is almost turning into like a, not just like speed dating, like I've joked around, but more importantly, like a dating app. And I can actually see that. And then you also have the hypothesis from Morning Glory, and I've heard other people say it too, but he's the first one I heard it from, saying 11th was designed almost, or it seems like it's designed, or it seems like they're leaning towards teams events. And that's something that Christian, the VTube 40k VTuber here, he talks about in that video. He talks about, you know, the leaning towards teams events, and while that sounds cool, it can affect how the ranking and the points are scored. And it just, to a chill guy, to me, it sounded like, ooh, that's not something I want to do. So yeah, you're being punished for a good sport. Hey, what's going on, Jenny? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And that's not an event I want to do. So, and I was thinking about this, and this is, you know, I like to cover it at the beginning of the video, because this is my, I don't want to say hypothesis, but this is my, you know, rub the 8-ball kind of early thought on the matter, or early warning sound, I guess. I think tabletop games, be it tabletop war games or tabletop RPGs, right? I think they're more similar than people let on. And I think they exist the best, or in their most quote-unquote purest forms, when they operate in the gray, when they operate in the middle. So the problem is you can swing. You can swing too far one way or too far the other way. For example, if you swing too far and lean into the competitive side, just like I brought up on morning stream, you run into what happened to War Machine, or you run into what's kind of happening to Magic the Gathering. Yes, there is still Commander and still all this other kind of stuff, but that's not what's leading to that's not what's leading people into, you know, scalping Magic boxes, or, you know, people are like, Magic's expensive hobby. It's like, why, you just buy one deck, you should be good, right? No, they do these pulls, they draw, all these different types of events. There is still chill, like laid back play, like Commander player, just like cracking a deck open, or like playing with the cards you have and just making your own decks and having fun with people. That's always, it's like that classic, I say classic, it's not that old now, but that Rick and Morty thing, you know, they drop off Jerry at the Jerry daycare. It's like, I'm leaving. She's like, that was always an option. It's like, I'm going to play narrative. That was always an option. So you can always do that with Magic. It's just hard to find people to do that. When you're like, oh, I play Magic, they're going to want you to show up for that whole, like, kind of, you know, oh, it's draft night, it's this night, it's that night. Okay. That's what happens. And there's great videos out there about the downfall of War Machine. Unfortunately, I thought the models looked cool, but what happened because of the whole competitive scene? Now, your question was like, okay, so why don't we just, you know, why do we have to be in the middle? Why can't we lean all the way to the other side? Why can't we just lean to pure narrative play? Well, my brood brothers, stay a while and listen as I pull a Deckard Cain on you in Tristram. Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition, 5.5, 2024, whatever you want to call the new thing Dungeons and Dragons is. I played, right? I was a young male, and I had just received, this was around 2014. I just got cut emergency orders to disregard my next base and immediately do a permanent change of service to the United States. Within 30 days, my spouse and I, we didn't know where we were going. We were either going to, I want to say like Hanscom, which is in like, I don't know, one of those like weird 13 colony states. I want to say it's New Hampshire, maybe. I've already been there. So I think New Hampshire was on the list. Nellis, which is outside Las Vegas, was on the list. Alaska was on the list. I think California was on the list. I think it was Beale. And then we had MacDill, which was Florida. We didn't find out until like 5 days after that we got the emergency stoppage and cancellation of my orders, and then 5 days later we find out, hey, you're going to Florida. So we had to, you know, find a house, move there. Oh, it was a nightmare, right? But the reason I'm telling this whole story, I promise there's a point and method behind it. My life's not that interesting, but the point of the story. So the point of the story is, before that had happened, for the Christmas that year, my wife, who is always awesome, always the coolest person I know, she'd known that I had been in our first year of marriage, because after this we've been married for about a year and some change, right? So the first year of marriage, I've been hiding what a nerd I was. I'd always hid kind of what nerd I was from girls, you know, because I figured that's not how you get girls. You just hide your nerdism, like kind of pack it down, right? You know. So after a year, when you live with someone, it's kind of hard to hide your nerd tendencies. And luckily, she's a nerd. She's like, hey, you don't have to hide it. I'm into that kind of stuff too. I was like, oh, well, that's awesome. So, you know, we start watching. Before you judge us, again, this is like 2013. There's not a lot of new shows when you don't have access to like Netflix or Hulu, right? So we were watching Big Bang Theory, and they were talking about D&D. She's like, oh, you ever played D&D? I was like, no, I've always wanted to, though. I always thought it was kind of cool. I was like, you know, I played similar stuff. I played like Hero Quest. You know, I played, you know, some video games that are similar, but never actual D&D. So that year for Christmas, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to do Pathfinder or D&D. She got me both. You know, the rule instructions for both, so I learned both systems. But again, this is 2014, overseas, not a lot of people to play with, you know. So I'm like, oh man, once I get back to the States, there's like nerd shops everywhere. I can go to a comic book shop. I can play anywhere. It's gonna be so cool. And also, I've always wanted to do 40k. I read all the books, so I started like learning the rules and reading the rules in 2014, ready to kind of come over across the pond and start playing. So the whole story of this is again 2014. You got to remember the Avengers, I think, just came out in 2012. That's, to me, that's very pivotal, very important for what happened to Dungeons and Dragons. So Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, when it came out in 2014, it was very much, to me, it felt like Avengers style D&D game, because I learned D&D while I was over there, but I had learned 4th edition, which was 4th edition itself was very much like a CRPG, like a computer-based RPG, where 5th edition became much more like Avengers, but fantasy style. So, and there wasn't, they kept releasing stuff for it. It wasn't that bad, but you can actually line up all the books they established for 5th edition. You can see the change in the cover art on the change they started going for. I'd say about 3/4 of the way through, they started leaning much more. They started realizing, between actual plays, Critical Role, stuff like that got popular. And anyone can play D&D. You guys know my philosophy: tabletop wargaming or tabletop RPGs. Anyone can play them, but they're not for everyone, So I don't mind anyone trying it, But it seemed like it got really popular with the Glee crew, right? It's just like Twitter Jumpsters, like, man, fuck you, Glee. Like, Glee kind of ruined everything. So it got really popular with like the theater kids, and especially when they started seeing like Critical Role, and they all wanted that kind of event. So you can literally start seeing in the books, they start changing. They become much more slice of life, basically like the Sims Medieval or the Sims Fantasy. And so I've been a DM since 2014, like all the way through 5th edition. I DM'd games, and I started doing it online. And then when the big plague happened, the old Wuhan flu busted out, and all the governments locked everybody down. Everybody, that's one of the many things people could do, is they could play D&D from home. So like, hey, this is awesome. I still had to work for the time. I had a government job. So I was working, and then I was DMing. At first, I did it for free because I don't like to charge for my services. But then I found out real quick, why people put a paywall out there. Some people call it gatekeeping. I call it quality control. The reason why is what I found out very quickly, and you can tie this with the social changes at the time. Again, I try not to be political in this channel. So the social changes at the time, the quarantine, all this kind of stuff going on. People started using D&D like a free therapy. Now, I have nothing against people who either suffer from mental illness or feel like they suffer from mental illness. It's not my job to say, but when other people want to play a game, they're not voluntarily agreeing to be your free therapist or part of your struggle session, So I always had my thing was like, leave your baggage at the baggage claim. Don't bring your baggage to the table. But every time I held a free game, people would sneak in and they'd use it like a like a Build-A-Bear, but it was like Build-A-Bitch kind of thing. And it's like the person they want to test out and try and be, they would bring that to the game and try out these personas and stuff like that. And not just fursonas or scalies. I mean, it was all types. It was just really awkward and weird. I was like, this isn't for you to try out a persona. Like, if you want to do that, just talk to the group ahead of time and find the right group for it. The rest of us are all trying to play like an actual D&D game, right? So that's when I realized, like, hey, I had to start charging for it. And I hated that, but I had to actually, what people would call gatekeep, I had to actually quality control. And the whole story behind this, it seems like I went off on a tangent, but when you go too far on one side, you get too competitive. You get things like War Machine and Magic and all the other stuff. You go the other way, you get too creative and just let the creativeness, whatever you could dream up is good to go. You get all the crazy homebrew where you're trying to run a legit game and one guy's Goku, nothing wrong with Dragon Ball Z. One person's a Gundam, one person's, this weird thing that feel like they've always been on the inside and they want to test out their new persona but use us as guinea pigs. And then some other poor bastard is basically just a human fighter ready to do some like D&D shit. Imagine it like a really crazy fucked up style of like 13th Warrior, where like instead of the Arab poet, it's like the one normal dude, and all the Vikings are all just like random anime characters or just like weird personas that people want to try and air out their dirty laundry and life issues. It was hell. It was actually, though I stopped doing it because the money wasn't enough. Some people would pay for it too. That was the worst part. They would still pay and still try and pull that stuff. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. So that's why I'm like, okay, so you can't have you don't want to lean super competitive. You don't want to lean super, laid back creative narrative, because you're going to get all sorts of weird buku bullshit. You have to try and keep it somewhat in the middle. The middle is where there's good. Where, hey, kind of lean more towards rule of cool, but there are still rules, And watching a lot of games, I try not to play any competitive 40k, but I did involuntarily play one last edition. And what I felt like is, I think a mixture of, so here's the thing. It used to be like 1,500 points, right? Was like the normal size. So like, hey, you need 1,500 points. I'm thinking like back in 7th, stuff like that. And other games, it's like 1,250 or 1,000 points, right? So Warhammer 40k, like boom, you need 2k points. That's a shit ton of points. Depending on what kind of army you're building. Like if you're doing custodies, that's nothing. But us poor guard and GSC players, like, oh Jesus, that's a lot of points. So if you take the fact that it's 2,000 points, and so they increased the points limit, and then they shrunk the map. They put like laser tag arena style terrain in there, and then on top of that, they have you every turn drawing secondary, if you want to play competitive. It's all if you want to play competitive. Draw these secondary cards, pick which one you're going to play, which one you're going to keep, which one you're going to burn to try and get more command points. Generate new command points every single command phase of each other's turn. There is so much going on. There are so many models in such small of a table and such uniformity of terrain. There's not enough time for it. I don't think you could do it in 4 hours, because what happens is you don't have time to question. And I feel like that's one of the issues with it. I feel like you don't have time to really kind of ask the question about, like, hey, how do you know, like, hey, can you show me that in your rulebook? You ask someone, like, hey, show it to me in your rulebook. Everyone's gonna lose their mind. Like, if you do that, I won't have time to finish my turn, turn 4, turn 5. It used to go to turn 6 back in the day, not that long ago. There's no time for these shenanigans. I remember here, like, rantingly catch up by the chat. I'm sorry. All right, hold on. Let me catch. I pause. Hey, Trooper, what's going on? Sorry, I was on a huge rant. All right, let's try and catch up. 5th edition was fine. Yeah. Yeah, 5e's not bad. Like I said, 5e has bones. I like 5e. I'm just saying it was very much, to me, it was very much based on the Avengers. That's not a bad thing. All that normally showed up to the party and made it uncool. Let's give the other theater kid back in 3.5. There's difference between gatekeeping, curating your gaming group. Yeah, some people are into that, some aren't. Yeah, there you go. Oh, because you play DD free in public forum. Anyone I'd invite. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. Yeah, it was. It is just like conflict. If you show up with 4 maxed out squad to shrug roll fun, I'm not playing you. Yeah. I'm a half demon, half celestial. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Alright, so I caught up on the chat. So yeah, I kind of went off on that weird rant, but it's just like my thoughts on it over the past week since we've had our last stream. That's what I've been thinking about. I've been watching a lot of games, trying to learn the rules. I want to learn the rules really well so I can start tinkering with them. I'm tinkering with them a little bit, but I want to know them better so I can tinker with them better. And that's what I've noticed. These maps are too small. The terrain is too boring. And there's too much stuff going on for just 4 hours to try and get 5 turns in. Really break that down. There's no way. There's no way to think about what you're doing, and there's no way to like have time to ask questions. And I think that's breaking down the socialness of these games. Because otherwise you'd be like, hey, show me that's a rule in your codex. Okay, cool, here you go. A good example. RK mentions, I think it was, yeah, I got some rules wrong at when we played in Malta. And when we showed each other, I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, my bad. Oh, it was the ambush rule. I was like, yeah, I can go ahead and shoot. He's like, no, that's absolutely, he's like, that's too overpowered. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, show it to me in the book. I was like, all right, we'll both look. So I remember grabbing my book, and I remember them looking on their app, and I was looking through my book, and we finally found it. I was like, oh, fuck me. All right, my bad. Never mind. I have to roll to see if I shoot. And then I rolled, and then I failed. So the order didn't go off. I was like, well, that was worthless. which I'm glad because I use ambush a lot now in Conflict 47. But if we were trying to rush, we never would have had time for that interaction. You know, we would have sat there and debated about it or called over a TO instead of just looking in the rules ourselves. Or like I said, you're already paying all this money for these models and all this other kind of BS. Like, you know, instead of memorizing everybody else's army, just bring your codex and just show your codex. Like, yeah, dude, it's right here, you know? I know my codex because it's my army. Look, it says right here under this model. Here's the rule. Or now there's an app, too. You can do the whole app thing, but I don't like giving people my phone. It's weird. But I feel like there's just not enough time. So I'm going to try and start, and I think Morning Glory was also talking about this, and I think some other people have as well, not just him, but trying to find not combat patrol. Combat patrol is like set individual forces. And I think 500 points is a little too low. So I think somewhere between 750 and 1250, I think might be kind of a cool area to play. You know, especially if you have like kind of these really cool narrative style missions where you actually had to like do something legit. You know, I think that would be really cool. And with that, we're gonna kind of lean into the stuff Sarade was saying. We're gonna look at some of his roles. So with that, there's the chat part. Let's get to the paint part. Let me see if I can actually put some paint on this warlord on Light Colonel Crockett here. I'm playing a Minotaur Gunslinger right now. I have DM'd a lot of different things. I have a soft spot for nautical campaigns, Ravenloft. I enjoy steampunk. I enjoy Eberron. I don't know. 5th edition has good bones. You can really play with it, but the later books I stopped buying because they all just got very slice of life. Alright, so I know the light's bright against the white model. So we're going to leave his suit white. We're going to do the ammo pouches leather, holster leather, handle wood, gold chain and gold emblem, because we bling in the Necromunda device. Let me bring that mic a little bit closer. Probably going to do an all-metal needle gun. I'm not sure what to do for the bone sword. I've never done a bone sword before. The arms we're doing in classic pure strain, so that's going to be blue. The actual part sticking out is going to be purple, and the claws and hand are going to be purple, and the actual blades and the claws are going to be black. Good painting. Skin, same color. The glasses, we're gonna paint those as black shades, and I think we're gonna give him blonde hair. Probably use Xandri dust for that. All right, let's get on it. Ooh, we did get some models in. I'll show you. Pretty excited about these. These are barely. But these are safe for work models. They are wearing bikinis, which is on theme for our Miami Vice army. But here are our Catachin. These are our Catachin heavy weapon teams. We went for autocannons. So they have the autocannons very similar to Helldivers 2. They came with heads, like 3D printed heads that you can put on. I'm actually going to go with some House Escher, like Mohawk style heads. And they also came with loaders. The loaders have like M16 style slug throwers, like auto guns. It's actually pretty cool. So yeah, as you can tell, it's gonna have like the leather jacket, you know, the black armor, the blue swimsuit, just like our sergeant over there. Kind of cool. I think these are pretty cool autocannons. But yeah, so for my neophytes, I'm going to test using Catachin heavy weapon teams. I know, the BS is shit. But they are heavy, so that means hitting on 4s. Hopefully I can put them up high because they have Scout. So hopefully I can get them up high to get that plunging fire. And they do re-roll their 1s to hit and wounds. So the BS is still kind of trash. But, you know, multiple shots. Re-rolling the 1s. We'll see. I'm not sure if I want to take 2 3-person teams. I may take 1 3-person team to try it. And luckily they're the same price as Sanctus. And I don't take Shanktuses, I take Sniper Sanctus. So I think I'm going to run 2 Sanctus and 1 3 autocannon heavy weapon team. And then if I like the heavy weapon autocannon, I can always swap it in and out with that Sanctus. So actually the reason why I put like flintlocks in my game, like musket style firearms, I put it for like village people, like shopkeepers and stuff like that, because I felt like it, with the amount of damage it would do, you know, it kind of gave them a deterrent from just getting murder hoboed by all sorts of people. You know, when villages started carrying like firearms and stuff like that nature, you know, not everyone, of course, like this isn't like the Wild West, not everyone's packing, but you know, like every now and then the guards would have some, you know, especially with like bayonets and like a shopkeeper and some stuff like that. It kind of kept things a little bit more polite, you know, like bandits would absolutely be up against something lethal. Yeah, CB Cooper, you're not wrong. So for mine, I'm taking, and a lot of it's also for fluff reasons. I'm taking Hellhounds. With my Hellhounds, I use heavy bolters on the whole. I like the ability to like kind of it being like able to like shoot down the street and then use its Inferno Cannon to like clear alleyways. I use Hippogriffs because I like the whole armored recon thing, and I like it's like a space hoggo. I use Casterkins and I use Catachin heavy weapon teams. Those are like the only. Oh, and in the bigger list, I have a couple of Cadian Castellans. So that's it. That's all the guard that I bring with my guys. So having the Hellhounds is a nice boost. You don't have to rely on orders for those. The Casterkins have decent staying power and they order themselves, which is actually pretty cool. And they have range and they're pretty damn lethal just shooting, which is pretty cool. With Broodmother Detachment, you can still do the whole reinforcement stratagem and possibly bring back your Casterkins if you want. Of course, that does cost CP. There is the whole thing where if you shoot something with, if you shoot a target with your Astra Militarum unit, it does give you that bonus that everyone talks about. So it's weird the way it works. So every time your guard unit is selected to shoot and you can select one enemy within 18 that's visible to that unit, if you do until the end of phase, models in that guard unit can only target that unit. That enemy unit is caught in overlapping fire. While the enemy unit is caught in overlapping fire, each time a Gene Stealer unit from your army targets that enemy with a ranged attack, it's plus you add 1 to the hit roll. So it sounds like a whole bunch of gobbledygook, right? So the main caveat is if you're trying to pull off the strat, which is called integrated tactics, but also says overlapping fire, which is dumb. So a guard unit has to shoot either all of its weapons or only shoot at that target, if that makes sense. So it can't split fire. It can't put its like Inferno cannon into some Gretchen and then put its heavy bolter into a Boomdaka Snazwagon and then say, hey, that Boomdaka Snazwagon is the one I'm picking for overlapping fire. No. If you do overlapping fire, that guard unit can only target one model. So that means it has to put all of its weapons into that model or only shoot that model and not shoot its other weapons, if that makes sense. And it has to be within 18 of that guard unit. So it's actually relatively close range. So you can't just like pink off with like snipers and shit like that and then be like, oh yeah, I shot that guy all the way across the board. Not any guard unit, not any cult unit that shoots him gets the +1. No, it has to be within 18 of that Astral Militarum unit. So once you do that, I put down a little crossfire icon, a little like little purple icon from Kill Team for the Genestealer cult. And now any Genestealer cult unit from my army that targets that enemy unit with a range attack, I get to add 1 to my hit roll. So that's kind of cool. So the cool thing is now the magic wombo combo that the Brood Brothers like is hitting a model with a Hellhound and then hitting it with a Ridge Runner. So remember that Hellhound also strips cover. So you're stripping cover and you're adding +1 to hit. That's a good combo, especially if they're in cover. And the Ridge Runner gives you what's actually called Crossfire. So with the Ridge Runner, if you mark one enemy that you hit with the Ridge Runner, and now anytime a friendly Genestealer unit makes an attack against that enemy, they improve the armor penetration characteristic by 1. So if you hit like, we'll say like a knight's walking down the street, right? You know, 2 knights walking to a bar. So a knight's walking down the street, he's looking for a good time, you know, he's looking for some ladies of the evening. So you hit the knight with a Hellhound for whatever reason, right? So you strip whatever cover it might have had, and now that you've stripped its cover, you know, since it was within 18, now anytime you shoot that knight with a Genestealer model that turn, you get +1 to hit, or +1 to your hit roll. Now, if your next unit to shoot at it is your Ridge Runner, which I use spotters on mine, which makes it even easier to hit, and I actually hit him with any of my weapons, including my heavy mining laser or my stubbers, my heavy stubbers, now the next Genestealer unit who shoots him also gets all that same stuff. The walker has no cover, you get +1 to hit, and now you get +1 to your armor penetration. So it's very Genestealery, like, oh, carefully laid plans, you know. So that's how that works. You can actually set up a pretty cool little mambo wombo combo. I think a full Soviet Navy army would actually be pretty cool. Yep, same thing. Yeah, you can take martial espionage. It's pretty expensive. Yeah, so the Ridge Runner can also strip cover if you take the Augur. So because I have the Hellhounds, I decided not to take the Augur, and I take the Spotter because I run heavy mining lasers. That way my heavy mining lasers usually hit pretty well. That way I'm getting more benefit out of my ability to actually hit targets and therefore get my crossfire ability. That is assault. That was pretty funny. So yeah, that's I think the Brood Brother detachment, even if it's not ever like meta or good, I think it's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be kind of fun. I have a whole army lore set around it. I'm having fun painting the models. Also, it's kind of cool to take in my ultimate like dream 3K list. I have like 6 hippogriffs, which is kind of cool. 3 hellhounds and 6 hippogriffs, which is pretty cool. I could try and maybe squeeze that in a 2K list, but I don't know. That's a lot of points, and I lose out on a lot of Kashkin. I don't know what I would do. And that's the other thing too. I have to play on a 6x4 table. I don't know what in the world I would do on those small, like, competitive sized tables with like 6 hippogriffs, because hippogriffs can shoot and then, you know, with a chance, move D6. So you could just move 1, but. Hey, Brady, what's going on? No, the Hellhound still has the same rules. All the same stuff that works for the Hellhound for the Guard also works over for the Brood Brothers. So the big difference between Genestealer Brood Brothers and Imperial Guard is Imperial Guard units attached to you via Brood Brothers, they cannot issue orders. So therefore, there's no point in taking officers. In which case, a lot of the ballistic skill of the Guard is almost built around getting orders for take aim. Now, there's an exception that's in the FAQ that the caster can have an ability where they basically order themselves. So because it's not called voice of command, it's technically allowed. It's in the FAQ. We're good to go. So the caster can are always a great thing to take because they can order themselves, and they got plenty of special weapons. As I'm sure you know, they got plasma rifles, melta-guns, melta-mines, all the cool stuff you see in Helldivers 2. You know, the Cashin's got it. The Hotshot sniper rifle, or Hotshot marksman rifle actually dropped a Necron in a game I played. It was pretty cool. But no, the Hellhound, the reason why a lot of Brood Brothers auxiliary are taking Hellhounds is the same ability of the guards taking it, because flamers hit, you know what I mean? Like it's a torrent, it's an auto hit if you're within range, and they strip cover. So in the GSC, we can strip cover if we take a certain piece of equipment on our Ridge Runners, which are little cars. It's like a little sensor auger. But if you do that, you can't take the spotter, and the spotter allows you to be a little more accurate, or you can even take flare and allows you to cast smoke CP for free, which is also pretty cool. So by taking Hellhounds, it alleviates our requirement on making our Ridge Runners also take that equipment, so we can put spotters on our Ridge Runners. Hey, Old Gamer Dad, how you doing? Alright, ooh, I keep bumping that thing. Let me get painting. Take off my watch because it keeps bumping things. Alright. I'm excited to paint my Warlord. This is actually pretty cool. And always a fun shout out. If you guys have never seen Miami Vice, like the actual classic OG show from the 80s, I highly recommend it. Even just season 1. It's so good. The writing's good, the music, everything. And you'll see a lot of like old actors. You're like, holy shit, is that? So it's like in one episode I saw Juan Carlos Esposito. I was like, is that him? Like, holy shit, he's so young. You see a lot of people very young. It's kind of where a lot of them got their start. Alright, let me pull out some of this. I get dog hair attached when I spray primer this thing. Dog shit everywhere. Alright, so I think we're going to do his shirt first. Then we're going to do all his leather attachments, his gold bling, skin tone, glasses, hair, weapon, his jean steelery arms. The last thing, and let me know what you guys think in the chat. Give me some ideas. What do you guys think for the bone sword? I've never painted Tyranids before, other than pure strength gene stealers. I have no idea what to paint his sword. Also, what would look cool for this whole Necromunda Vice theme we're going here for. Like I said, the theme of this army, if you've never seen it, is like Moonbeam City, Far Cry, Blood Dragon, very, what else, like Cyberpunk, Blade Runner. Like, that's the kind of vibes we're going for here. She's like, yes, yeah, so this was originally a Detective Gordon model. So that's kind of what we're using for our Sonny Crockett. They were going for a white suit with a blue shirt. Alright, I think for the blue shirt, we're going to use, kind of torn. Torn between using our bright jade or using this paint. I haven't used this paint yet. I'm actually kind of excited. War paints. I think we'll try this guy. Yeah, so what I'm thinking for the brights, I was thinking about like black with like a green kind of grid stripe on it, you know? But I'm not sure. So the lore behind these bone swords is usually these come off the limb or claw, or they're grown by the patriarch of whatever the infestation is of that planet. It's usually a gift from the patriarch to the Primus to show that he's favored by the patriarch, you know, to lead the rebellion. So usually these should match, however, and I do, because Squidfist is so generous, I do actually have a patriarch figure. I'm not going to paint it because I'm ass at painting. I'm probably going to have someone paint that for me. I'm not sure who. I knew you were going to say leopard print. I knew it. I knew. I asked, and I knew what you were going to say. You know, I asked anyways. That one's on me. All right, okay, you're talking about the black with green like mesh on it style. I'm almost thinking like very like what was that old cartoon show that's way ahead of its time, like Reboot? Is that what it was called? Oh, the color, Army Painter. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard by camera. Well, actually, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Let's see if I can change something for you guys here. Maybe that'll be a little bit better. Because the problem is he's it's a white based model and it's a white light, so it's really hard. It just like kind of on camera he kind of just like blurs out, you know. So for him, we're doing a white suit with his light blue undershirt, and when we do Major Ricardo Tubbs, he's gonna have a gray suit with a pink undershirt. Ooh, toxic green would be kind of cool. Yeah, it's already white, so I can do like a glowing green on it. But yeah, once we get him painted, then we'll take a look at Suraid's chill, laid-back rules. We'll get started. So what I'm working on now is what is a good table size for a 500-point game. I don't think 500 point is the way I really want to go forward. I think I want to do like 750. But I'm thinking especially even for a 750 army, how do you guys feel about a 4x4? For a 4x4 table for a 750 game. And it's not all open either. I mean, with like good terrain, like definitely multi-story terrain, like at least 3 or 4 stories. Maybe a nice huge centerpiece. So I think we were talking on the stream the other day, and someone mentioned they remember back when chimeras were amphibious, and I always bring up that point in other streams too. And then I thought about it. You know, Warhammer 40k is supposed to be a tabletop war-playing game. When was the last time you saw a battle space with a river? Now you go back and you play Space Marine 2, there's rivers, you know, multiple, and a lot of different planets. Even just if you're playing like an urban map, you could still do like the sewer, or like the spillage, you know, you have like a toxic sludge river. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really see water features on the tabletop, or you don't really see unpassable terrain. I'm looking at the blade. What I may do is, you can tell there's like a spine in the middle of the blade, so I may do the whole thing like a glowing green, and then just go back and pick out the actual spine and the handle here in black. That might be kind of cool. But yeah, this is another kit bash. So we took a Detective Gordon, we chopped off his radio hand, gave him a needle pistol, chopped off his other hand and gave him 2 hands, you know, blessing be the four-armed emperor. Carved up his chest and carved away his tie, added on a auto pistol and a occult icon, and then gave him a whole bunch of ammo pouches kind of slinged around the front like that. Kind of cover up some of my carving mistakes, you know. And yeah, I think we'll get him painted. I think he's gonna look properly Miami Vice style. All right, skin tone. As you guys know, I'm not skilled, so therefore I'm not picky. I'm sure watching this, Brady is like cringing. If you guys didn't know, Brady can paint. That dude can paint very, 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 very well. He's up there with like not just Mad Larkin. Mad Larkin can paint too, but he's up there with like Squicken or Sean's skill level. So he's very, very good at painting. When I say printing, but he's over here watching my amateur's efforts. Like, oh dear God, someone get a brush away from that guy. So now for skin tone, all I do is as you guys know, I really love my base paints. I paint my models, you know, like your prom date, good from 3 feet away. You get a little too close, starts looking kind of scary. So, you know, I like base paints because they kind of go on and it protects the model and stuff like that. A desert-themed GSE army would go hard. Yes, Ginny, it would. I have a whole bunch of Talaran Desert Raiders that Squidfist has given me. You absolutely could have like a Dune, you know, Shai Halou, you know, may your blades chip and shatter style GSC army. The coolest part is, yeah, you could run it with like mostly pure strain Gene Stealers for like your whole like actual GSC part, and then the other part actually do Imperial Guard. So you basically have Imperial Guard with pure strain Gene Stealer support. That screams a Talaran Desert style army. If Squid hops in here, I may try and convince him to do that. I feel bad because he just sent me all his pure strains. Alright, so this is going to be a little hard. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the light on for this one, sorry guys. Hey, there it is, Squidfist. Speak of the squid and he shall appear. I'm going to have to try and pick out his feet. We were talking about what about a desert-themed GSC Brood Brother army. I was talking about like, you know, Talaran Desert Raiders, and then for your GSC portion, it's just oops, all pure strain. Just absolutely all pure strain Gene Stealers with, you know, Talaran Desert Raider Guard. So you could have your Lehman Russ battle tanks and your Hellhounds, you know, because they don't require orders. Have a bunch of squads of like Casterkin. Yeah, and then just run with nothing but pure strain Gene Stealers. Be absolutely nasty. Alright, so I'm doing this one off camera to take a little bit of attention. What I'm doing is I'm painting a little bit of his feet showing through his shoes, so you can tell that he is not wearing socks. Which sounds like a silly detail unless you know the show. He's always wearing like boat shoes and stuff. Don't worry, I'll turn the lights down so you can see. I know the bright light on the white model, it doesn't come out well on stream. I get that, and I apologize. Let me get his flesh done. Let me get his flesh. And I do have the Orc Codex, if anyone has any questions about the Orcs. I don't have any of the lore, but I have all the juicy bits. If anyone's curious or wants to know about it, wants me to look anything up for them, you let me know. Yeah, I'm telling you, I feel back, so you used to be a lot of those beautiful Pure Strains, Gene Sealers. But yeah, that actually might be a list I build here myself just for fun. I may end up building like a another Brood Brother list, but instead of taking all my Neophytes and all my Sanctuses and stuff like that, I may just build like my Necromunda, you know, Casterkin, Necromunda Solid Casterkin and tanks, and then just take a shit ton of Pure Strains and just run them all over the board. Just popping out of the ground and eating people. Oh, Squidfist, I appreciate it, but I'm good. I'm good on the drill transport, but I have a whole metric shit ton of orcs to send you. I found more. All right, there you go. Look, you can see his feet and his shoes. So he's wearing like white boat shoes. Got his hand on his gun. He's got his face. Yeah, absolutely. Imagine like Talaran Desert Raiders doing like a hit and run on you, and be like, "Huh, that's weird." Like, okay, and like on the other side, like right where they ambush you, out of the ground jumps a shit ton of Pure Strain, just absolutely rip you apart. Yeah, I appreciate it, Squidfist. I don't want to be greedy, brother. You sent me so much, and I love the stuff you send me. I don't see a drill thing being used in my army, but I appreciate it, so I don't want to be greedy about it. But that is cool. Yeah, it's amazing the orc truck prices. That's insane. I'm glad the old kit's going away. The old kit was a pain in the asshole, but the price is ludicrous. But the Gene Sealer Goliath truck or whatever is a great truck for orcs. I've kit bashed it, super easy. You know, all you gotta do is just add one orc on it with a big shooter, and you're done. Super easy. And also rhinos, especially like third-party 3D printed rhinos. Easiest orc truck there is. No one's gonna complain that orcs wouldn't steal or use a rhino. You know what I mean? And it's clearly a transport that everybody else uses. So that's why I tell everybody else, just use orc rhinos. Or yeah, orc rhino trucks. Half the price of my car. Yeah, I'm glad that box had like burners and looters in it, because I think they're going away. Also, the buggies are going away. That broke my heart. All the buggies were cool. They were all fun. I used them all. They were all cool. Yeah, that's sad. That just kind of broke my heart a little bit when I was thinking about it. Alright, I'm looking at a picture. Sorry, I was thinking about that Nickelback. Look at this photograph. Alright. Trying to find a picture of the model of you know, Sonny Crockett thing I'm trying to paint. I actually have a picture of it somewhere. Okay, there it is. Alright, I was looking at my detail, I'm trying to get the hair right. Alright, well that's a pain in the ass. Alright, apparently it has a pain in the ass hair color. That's fine. It's like brown with like blonde in it. Why can't people have normal fucking hair? Way to make this job harder, Miami Vice. Damn. Ooh, I wanna look at that once I have this guy painted. Yeah, it used to be fun throwing burna squads and trucks, like when I was playing my Orcs Against Myself on my GSC, getting better. In 10th edition, that's how I used to fight my Gene Stealers. So I'd put burners and trucks, just run them around the board, absolutely flaming the hell out of people. Oh, that Daka squig looks awesome. Love it. Alright. So we got that part painted. Let's hit his sunglasses. Some iconic black sunglasses. It's like every week after the streams, I like clean up my hobby desk and reorganize my paints, and I can never find the paints that I was using. And I was like, fuck. It's a constant battle here. All right. Turn up the light a little bit so I can see any smaller details. Alright, went a little too far with that. Let me fix that with a little bit of skin tone. We got shades on him, but I went a little too high on the other side. I'll have to fix that. I'm waiting on that black to dry a little bit so I can cover it back over with some skin tone. He's like, paint it. Let me do another layer of this. Just pastel blue. Yeah, there we go. So I think for his hair, what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna hit it with this Thondia Brown, and then when that dries, I think I'm gonna do a dry brush of a little bit of Xandri dust on top of it to kind of like pick out a little bit of like the blonde in the front. Ooh, 4th edition codexes. No, I don't. I think I have a 4th or 3rd edition Orc codex. So if you do find a place where they're collecting that, let me know. I can contribute some scanned pages. We're getting there. Oh, that's so cool. For the Grata shoot. Yeah, I realized some of those Grata scenes are those cool, like, little, like, raceway, like, motor ones. Some of them are missing their arms. Like, he had, like, a little megaphone and stuff like that. I found those arms. So I'll put those in the little bits bag in the next box. The next box, if you're cool with it, is just chock-a-block full of orcs. It is just, oops, all orcs. So you got the bits in, hopefully, and this one's just all orcs. Alright, we're getting there. It actually kind of looks like an 80s version of Nick Fury right now because the temples are still gray. Hey, what's going on, Damned Legion? The factory painter himself, the man who can sit down and knock out painting a whole army in one trip. I wish I could paint as fast as you, Damned Legion. You are legendary in these parts, good sir, kind sir. Alright, so we got his hair done. I just gotta fix where I got a little overzealous with the sunglasses with the skin tone. We're getting there. It's like next week. You painted a panther and a stumble? That's a lot, Matthew. How you doing, buddy? Hope work's treating you well, brother. Hope you're staying safe. That's impressive. For those who just joined us, we were actually working on the Warlord for our Necromunda Vice army, and yes, this is Light Colonel Sonny Crockett as a Primus. known for wearing linen, linen casual suits. The sleeves kind of rolled up a little bit, so it's actually a lot of fun to paint them. No socks. Hopefully, if you've seen the show, you kind of get the vibe I'm going for. Okay, there we go. All right, so he's coming along. And then when we're done, we'll do a little bit of dry brushing Xandri dust kind of on the front of his hair and kind of the tops. They kind of show like sandy brown hair, you know, a little bit of blonde in there. All right, now let's pick out his leather ammo pouches in the front and his leather holster. And I wanted to give him a shoulder. There's a lot of cool stuff I want to give him from the show, but it just wouldn't fit on the model. So there's some compromises you have to make, you know, but still trying to be true to like the spirit of it, you know. All right. Where? There it is. I always say it every stream. I'm not gonna miss it this time. My favorite GW paint. The only GW product I 100% endorse and would highly recommend. Regardless of what kind of paint you use, this is always a good tool for the toolbox. It is so good. You can do multiple layers to make deeper, more aged leather. You can like crease it by just painting a diagonal, then like changing and making one side darker than the other. Oh, it's so good. Whatever dark gods they swore to in their, you know, corpo meetings, man, they nailed the leather part. It's good enough for a Tiki point. There's no such thing as a Tiki point. And you know what? I blame Cosmic. Not even Ginny. Not even RK. Pretty sure it was RK who came out with it, but I'm going to blame Cosmic for its widespread. Going a bit slower on this model and kind of taking my time since it is going to be, you know, my warlord. Well, that's the point. Daimyo-sa. Yeah, these ammo pouches I think came off either a British Warlord game sprue or a Wargame Atlantic sprue. I think Wargame Atlantic, knowing me. It was one, like, I think, like 5-round pouch, and then I grabbed another pouch and kind of trimmed it to fit. Yeah, the camera does not like focusing on these white models. Tiki point is real. I hope you redacted that, Ginny, because I didn't see what your message was. I didn't redact it. I hope it wasn't my stream bot. Alright, now if you notice, he has almost like a drop leg configuration. So instead of putting the pistol down low, I put the pistol in the quote unquote, alright, we're about to get spicy to the Tiki point. In my opinion, and in my experience, in the best position. You don't want a pistol all the way up on your hip. You also don't want to use the actual drop leg and have it all the way down by your knee where you gotta like reach down like Han Solo to blast Greedo in the face. You want it in a modified just below the belt line. And the way you do that is when you get like a stereotypical like drop leg holster, there's like the female clip that you put on your belt and the male clip that goes in the actual holster. So the way you do that, you just don't use the female end at all. And on the male clip, you actually just open up the Velcro that holds onto it and make that into a belt loop and just rig that through your belts. And that allows you to drop that pistol just below your waist. Again, you don't want to put it on the actual drop leg, like where it's supposed to go. Manufacturers this all the fuck way down your thigh. And I have long arms because I'm tall, but not a lot of people are like gorilla Donkey Kong level. You know, so it's really hard to draw that and to like really scrunch over. It's so funny because it's a tell. You can see when someone's drawing because they'll literally like lean to the right like it's a dance move to draw their pistols. If you have it all the way up on your hip, same thing. You're gonna lean the opposite way. So if you have it on your right hip, you're naturally gonna lean a little bit to the left and grab your sidearm. If you have it in the drop leg configuration on your right, you're gonna lean all the way to the right to draw it. But when you have it in that modified drop just below the waist, just below the belt, it just draws naturally. Now you can supersede all that with training, of course, but there wasn't a lot of time for training, sadly. Or at least not a lot of ammo to train with. Oh. I didn't know you could do that, Jenny. That's awesome. Alright, now let's get that holster leather. A little bit more light for me here. Now in the movies usually wears like a shoulder holster and an ankle holster. In the movies, in the show, he wears a shoulder holster and an ankle holster. here we will give him the modified drop leg. My southpaw draw weird anyways. Yeah, I'm one of those really lucky people where I'm right-handed but left eye dominant. So shooting was really hard until I learned that. So now I shoot long guns left-handed, but I still use my sidearm right-handed. So I always get screamed at, you know, every time you go in for training, people are like, "Oh, your gear's set up the wrong way, your mag pouches are wrong." You know, and you're just like, "Yeah, cool, cool, fair point." Yeah, then you go to the range and it's like, "No, the shit's set up how I want it," you know. And it's kind of a pain in the ass to learn to shoot left-handed. I mean, you should be training, if that's your profession, you should be training to shoot, you know, around barricaded right-handed, left-handed. Not like super accurate, but you know what I mean, like within 100 meters, be able to engage an area target reliably. It sounds like nothing, area target 100 meters, but you know what I mean. But, you know, to actually get that muscle memory going. But the cool part is anytime there is a failure drill, you know, and you had to like draw your sidearm and stuff like that, they do that. They'd introduce like a dummy round into your mag for your primary arms. You'd be shooting and it would jam, so you do tap rack fire or whatever, but that's what you're supposed to do afterwards. But what you immediately are supposed to do, what we're trained to do anyways, is the New York City reload. So if you're a primary up, you go and click no matter what it is before you tap rack fire or you know, do any of the kind of bullshit. You immediately draw your secondary and you keep engaging the target. So the cool thing is when you shoot long guns left-handed and you shoot your sidearms right-handed, it makes transition drills, it's like super easy. You're just like click, and as it's clinking, you're already drawing up your pistol with your right hand, already engaging and going. So that was fun. But everything else is a pain in the ass. Yeah, that's one thing we harped on super heavily during training, was always the New York City reload. Always. That's one of the benefits, is we usually got to be dual armed. So it was a unusual advantage to be dual armed, and so you need to take advantage of that. Let's pick out a little bit more of that leather on those mag pouches and that holster. Got me a Chicago typewriter. Nice. There we go. It's quicker to use your third arm to draw than it is to reload with the other two. Exactly. I'm telling you, imagine how much easier it'd be just to be a gene stealer, a neophyte. Alright. So there's the leather done. Let me find my Mordia brown for the wood. Never want to use the same color brown for the hair and for the wood. So we're going to use Mordfang brown for the wooden pistol grip on the one in this holster. Hey, Cosmic. The only thing you missed is that the Tiki point is not real. No, I went on a small rant talking about Warhammer 40k and saying you don't want to go full competitive, you don't want to go full narrative. You know, one takes you down the path of Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And War Machines, and the other takes you down the path of Dungeons and Dragons 5.5 edition, you know, in the later half of 5th edition. Meanwhile, we've been painting, I know the light's a little bright. We've been painting our warlord, Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Crockett. So he's got his sockless shoes, he's got his white suit, his blue undershirt. He's got his shades. Let the camera kind of focus here a little bit. We gave him some mag pouches in the front. He's got a nice holster here on the side. There it is. Yeah, there's absolutely no such thing as a Tiki point. Alright, we got that in there. I'm thinking about painting the handle of his needle gun wood. What do you guys think? Should the needle gun all be chrome, or should the handle of the needle gun be wood? Only because you don't believe, Tiki. Alright, in the chat, let me know what you guys think. Either wood or all chrome. All chrome needle gun or wooden. I'll hold off, see what you guys think. Well, he is rich. He's the leader of a vice unit, man. They steal everything. But I got you. All chrome? Okay. You want that pistol all chrome? That's fair. Shiny and chrome. Alright, chrome wins. Unless there's some more votes. Let me do one more pass with our blue paint here. Oh, it's starting to dry. What color of wood? It would be similar to... I don't think you can kind of see it. That pistol grip right there in its leather holster. That's right, I think the chrome's worn out. Nice. Balsa wood. Driftwood. All right, now we're gonna paint the cult emblem attached to his holster, and we're gonna go with Arc Armor Gold. You really gotta like bang this one on tabletop to kind of work it loose. Get that nice gold color going. You gotta be careful because that gold paint really does like to it likes to run, so I'm gonna have to go back and kind of work on that leather holster. This paint looks cool when it's on, but it can be kind of a pain in the asshole to use. Shit gets everywhere too. Makes it look like I've been playing Thumb War with a stripper. Got this gold powder everywhere. Hey, what's going on? Still unsure. How you doing, buddy? We are painting our army's warlord. right. Back down the light here a little bit so you guys can see better. Let's see how it's turning out. There you go. You can see his gold chain and gold icon there. That is our Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Crockett. Spent $500 on candy. I get the joke, that's funny. Nice, yeah, enjoy your 2 days off or you gotta do a full 7. I am, between both of my jobs, I am 6 on, 1 day off, and it's not bad. Surprisingly get a lot done on that 1 day off. Ooh. In classic 80s fashion, I think I'm actually going to do the scope of the needle pistol. I think I'm going to do the actual glass in red. I think that'll look cool with a chromed gun. Right now, let's chrome that bad boy out. Lead Belcher, where are you? I think it's time for a new Lead Belcher. But yeah, I'm still torn on the sword. Let me know what you guys think about the bone sword. Like I said, the lore is they're supposed to be given to the Primuses from the Patriarch as like part of their body, you know, increasing like that whole psychic link and everything, and the symbology, like the authorization to lead, you know, kind of like wearing colors that were touched by the king, you know. You're literally using part of the Patriarch's body as a weapon. So my Patriarch is going to be the classic, old school Space Hulk Gene Stealer colors. So dark blue carapace, purple skin, black claws. So his claws are black. Like I'm thinking maybe a black, like I said, I was thinking about a black blade with just like green lines all over it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe like toxic green where like the teeth marks are, or like the saw marks in the blade. I could do the actual saw marks and toxic green maybe. I'm still here. Sorry, I'm focused. I'm trying to clean this, trying to paint this scope without messing up the red that I already put in the glass. Alright, there we are. One needle pistol. I think all we really have left to do is his arms, his sword, messing a little bit with the hair, and then see if I have to repaint the suit or not once I base him. Who's it who has the best white paint? Is it this Pro Acrylic? This Pro Acrylic the one with the best white paint? I can't remember. I have a white paint, it just goes on very thick. I don't want to do that on the model. Okay, yeah, that's who has the titanium white. One coat is best coat. Okay, real good. All right. Is it real thick or is it kind of light? Like maybe not contrast light, but it's like somewhat light. Yeah, since I sprayed powder in white, I don't have to like redo all his suit and everything like that. I'm trying to be careful and paint around it, you know? I like the Skaven style answer, Matthew. Nice. Best white, yes, yes. Man flesh. Alright, we are chipping away paint by paint on this model. I think if I can find it, yeah, there we go. Little Zandri dust. We're gonna shake this up real nice. We're going to tear off a piece of paper towel. We're gonna dry brush off that and then dry dab a little bit of blonde hair on this guy. Alright. Got a bit of paper towel. We're gonna kind of just scrunch this up. Get a little bit of our paint here. We're going to, just like you do dry brush, we're going to dab it onto a paper towel so you don't have much on there. It's just kind of like that. And we're just going to hopefully just lightly bump his hair with it a little bit. Oh yeah, I think that came out just like I wanted, actually. It's so cool being unskilled and lazy and finding things that actually work. So there you go, you can see his brown hair, and now you can see like a little bit of blonde kind of streaks on top. Perfect. All right, Ginny, take it easy. Have a good one. Enjoy your 2 days off. Nice. I'm glad you like the music, man. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the whole, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm into the whole aesthetic vibes of this. The whole, like, cyberpunk, you know, Miami Vice style thing. I think it's cool as hell. It's throughout the whole army, you know. Those of you guys who haven't seen, we have a couple new painted models. There's some people join us later on the stream. So here's another cult neophyte wearing our blue body glove, leather jacket, white pauldron armor. But she has Harley Quinn pigtails, black and red. She's got a pump action shotgun pistol grip pump on the back. You can see the cult icon, gold. A little bit of purple on the pole. Yeah, I'm loving. It's one of those things where, like, I'll never I won't say never. Like, if there's a charity or if like one of you guys is doing an event and you ask, I will be there for you guys, and I mean that. Other than that, I probably won't go to an event or like a tournament, but I don't care if I lose everything. I'm gonna have a cool ass themed army. And we even have theme lighting. Check this out. Ciao. Look at that. Oh, look at the way it bounces off the book and the map and everything. Oh, it's so cool. Theme lighting. Meow. Alright. Let me get another drink here. We were drinking our favorite. It's been raining and storming here, so I'm drinking one of my favorite little nighttime drinks. It is Earl Grey tea mixed with, and this is called Tippers. It's a local Florida orange liqueur, and it's absolutely delicious. Oh, Earl Grey and orange liqueur. It is a magic combination. especially on a rainy day or like a cold rainy day. Oh man, it'll breathe life in your bones. He's like, it's a strange hot toddy. Yeah, it's a weird tiki thing, but try it one day. Because what it is, it's bred out of necessity. Most places you go around the world, like let's say you're in an airport in like Istanbul, or let's say you're hanging out at a cafe in Brussels. Like they're gonna have Earl Grey. They'll have hot water, and having it boiled cleans it. So you don't have to worry about impurities. They're gonna have Earl Grey, and then even the most shitty bars, for some reason they always have like that weird. They have that weird bottle of like that has the body of a monk. It's like that really weird liquor. I have no idea what it is. But they always have like your basics like vodka, usually a whiskey. For some reason they always have orange liqueur for like making different types of mixed drinks. So yeah, it's a nice little alcoholic toddy you can get just about anywhere. Can you get alcohol in Constantinople? Yes, you can. So at least when I was there, the country at the time is secular. Now, yes, there is a large amount of the population that is practicing Muslims, using the term practice loosely. Some take it a little more serious than others, but the country was secular, so you absolutely could still buy alcohol. They actually have their own moonshine. I think it's called like Safari. It's almost like a soju. It's very tasteless, and it takes on the taste of anything you mix it in. So we used to mix it with like Sunkist. Oh God, is it dangerous? Yeah, arcade. That's what it's called. What is that liquor? I saw it at like every bar everywhere, but I've never seen anyone drink it or use it. Oh, it's hazelnut. Oh, okay. Ooh, there's another really good drink out there. It's a Trader Vic's. Yeah, it's a Trader Vic liquor, and it's a macadamia nut liqueur. Is it macadamia nut? No, it's something else. It may be macadamia nut. Shit, now I can't remember. It might be macadamia nut liqueur. Really good. Oh, there's also that weird that South African drink that's made from the oranges. It's like a creamy drink. It's infamous for the elephants like to go there and supposedly put the fruit up their trunks and let it ferment, and they get like drunk as lords and like lay down and pass out. Damn, I've had it before. I used to just put it on the rocks and sip it on my porch. I can't think what it's called. Oh, it's a really good liquor. Yeah, technically it is a sour cream, yeah. What is that called? I think one of the members of the royal family really liked it. I can't remember what it was. It might have been Prince Harry who liked it a lot. He flew Apaches. I used to think he had good taste, and I saw his wife, and I was like, "Yee." All right. Let me know if you found what liquor that is, RK. It's South African, and it's made from like a particular type of like fruit that grows on like one tree, and the elephants always take it and shove it up their trunks until it ferments and they get drunk. There's your random ranting, see if you can find that one. Alright, so to paint them, we're going to work that Apache. Alright, so we're gonna get our jeans that are purple for the hands and for the underscale part. Already put in our coffee, yep. And I actually use contrast ultramarine blue. Amarula. That's what it is. Amarula. I got confused with like Amarillo. It's Amarula. That's what it is. The Amarula has like a bit of a, almost like a gamier kind of like weird taste to it. It's good though. Oh, you like Bailey's, do you? Huh? You ever had Bailey's out of an old shoe? You like this painting? I call it Bailey's. This is also Bailey's, a bit closer. Why is that? Why is that hook connected to that rod, mother liquor? Those of you who don't know old Greg, you're missing out. But yeah, hopefully you guys are still hopefully that price jump didn't scare too many people away from GW. My stance is there's a lot of people out there who 3D print. I don't, because I don't have the time. There's a lot of people out there who 3D print, right? I will buy a GW model if the price is good and or if I like the sculpt. If neither of those are true, I'm not going to buy the model. But to be fair, I will always buy the rules. Again, that comes like a whole D&D thing. All I need are the rules. I don't need your specific models, or I don't need to follow the campaign the way you write it. You know, I just need to follow your rules. I don't need to play the way that, you know, is prescribed, or use your models. Ironically enough, especially for where I live, I think it's kind of weird here in the States, I actually do have a GW store. And actually, a GW store is the closest, like, nerd store to where I live. Ironically. But I don't go there anymore, because the guy I liked who ran it no longer works there. Nice guy, he moved on. But, and now they've had the whole, like, you know, you had the GW models and that whole thing. And as you can tell, there's just too much fun to have with aftermarket models. A yardie out of a gumboot. I had to drink many beers and many liquors out of a rugby boot. If you ever played rugby, there's a lot of drinking traditions and drinking songs. It is not sanitary. Well, also, it's also a matter of preference. Like, I don't like the new dynamic Katie models. I don't really like the poses that much. The poses are cool, but they're a pain in the ass to build, and they're not as modular. I understand it was a change they made, and that's okay. No worries, I know some people like them, and that's okay too. I like kit bashing. I like the modularity of the old ones. So, not a fan. Not gonna get my monies. But, for my guys, for my Gene Center cult, the Start Collecting boxes were a good value, so when they were on sale, like when they're down like in their 124s, that was a good price for me, you know? I got a Ridge Runner, I got Atlas Jackals plus the Jackal Alphas, and then I got, you know, 2 squads of, you know, hybrids that can either make metas, tacos, or flacos. That was a great deal. I'm like, man, I like this. I'm about this. I have a bunch of unbuilt tacos and flacos because I'm using those as bits now. Exactly. I really enjoy building, but the new kids make me not build. Yeah, like the whole hobby cycle was fun. You know, shopping for a value, buying the kit, building the kit, painting the kit, and getting to play with the kit. It was a multiple tiers of fun. And I feel like the tiers are designed to almost be not as much fun. I'm like, what are we doing here? That's why people are like, oh, you can play with unpainted models. And they're right, you absolutely can play with unpainted models. Like when I start testing my 500 point games some more on my garage, I'll have 500 points of my GSC painted, but my Imperial Guard are still going to be gray. Nice, there we go, it's one arm. Yeah, the bits value used to be great. Now it's specifically low. I don't know why. And I was talking, in a local group about like the whole thing. I'm like, hey, just sell push fit or basic models, then spell all the upgrade sprues for all the different regiments and chapters. You'd make a killing. Even with the orcs, you could sell like upgrade sprues for death skulls, versus blood axes, versus freebooters. Just those three right there are wildly different. They could have wildly different heads and icons and weapons. You're like, yeah, everybody has a choppa, but like the evil sons would have choppas that are made out of like, it's a multi-purpose choppa. Like one side's a wrench, the other side is a broken gear that's been sharpened. You know what I mean? Like you could actually have. It's a great way to make money. It's like, yeah, you can use regular orcs and you can paint them whatever you want, but you really want to make them customized and cool, buy this upgrade sprue, It's just like how they have for like Death Watch and Black Templar. Somebody was saying it wouldn't work for the guard because they look totally different. I was like, yeah, but you also have the matter of fact, I have one right here. You have the Necromunda one, upgrade sprue for House Escher. And they're like, oh, those are resin and don't fit well. I was like, no, these are great. They're plastic. They come with all the weapons and arms, and they also come with heads. It's literally just plug and play. That's why, like I said, I rely on Wargame Atlantic for my bodies and for my bits. And then when I need custom stuff, I'll go to websites like Mad Robot, Anvil, or Victoria. Like to fill out a lot of the bodies in the army, a lot of them are going to be cannon fodder bodies because they were cheap and easy. Like a Talarn upgrade kit, super easy, right? It comes with 10 capes and it comes with like 10 capes and 15 heads. Some of them are full shmag, some have like half a shmag, some are like, robed or cloaked and stuff like that, For their power swords, it's like a full-on power scimitar, and like their last guns would have like cloth coverings, It'd be super awesome. You're like, yeah, I see the cannon fodder cannons. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the male kit, the male cannon fodder kit comes with this one, with the cables, and I'm using that because it has that side battery as my mining lasers. It's supposed to be kind of replacing this. And then to replace my seismic cannons, which I'll paint like the actual weapon effects purple, I'm using the special weapon that comes in the female cannon fodder kit. And I put on some bipod mounts from a World War II sprue I had. And I'll paint that weapon effect purple. So the colors will match, you can tell a difference, and you can tell I even tried to model it to show a difference, As we're doing, I'm carefully trying to paint the arms, leaving the gaps to fill in with that Gene Stealer purple on the arms. And luckily, the classic Space Hulk style of coloring, the blue, dark blue, and purple, actually goes well with the theme of my army, so that's always nice. Oh, dude, that is awesome. Yeah, that probably looks so good. Mixing the Bulldog in the French War One kit. Yeah, you could do some really cool guard regiments. And I'm sure you guys have seen the Trader Guard kit coming from Wargaming Atlantic. So they have the big box out now, and they're about to start releasing the kits, the boxes individually. Alright, so that's the arms. Now we're about to do the hands and the little inner snooze part purple. But yeah, next time you guys are gonna play a 40k game, even if it's just, especially if it's a chill narrative game, do me a favor, just try and push out the board size a little bit. Have a really cool centerpiece, a really cool terrain centerpiece that's interactable. You know, like a huge chapel or whatever you can find. You know, even if it's just like 2 coffee tins with like a walkway between it, like whatever you got. Then put out some cool multi-layered terrain. You know, and let me know how it goes for you. I'm trying to test my theory that I think it's the table size and the terrain on the table that would make some of the biggest changes. There we go. Yeah, there's that classic Space Hulk style. Yeah, that would be a cool way to do Breadblood Auxiliary. Do mix the Bulldog or whatever, World War I French, and Afterlife Cthulhu tentacle heads. And there's also some of those heads in the Acolyte box, but you can just get a whole bunch of those Cthulhu heads after market. That would be an absolutely cool way of doing it. Yeah, imagine it's a planet that's like the whole planet is almost very similar to like Venice, where it's like a bunch of sunken cities and they get a whole bunch of like weird tides. So like their Tyranids, you know, are like aquatic. So it's like it's basically like Cthulhu. It's like horrors of the deep, and they're called like the Sunken Guard. You know, they like kind of like just like kind of come crawling out of the water. You know, with like all sorts of like, you know, algae and stuff hanging off them. You know, they have like these like tentacle heads and stuff. That's really cool. The Sunken Guard. Nice, I'm glad I picked up on your Cthulhu reference then. The same thing, once I finish the arm and hands and claws in purple and blue and black, then I go over with that purple wash. That way it doesn't look as like cartoonish. It's funny, yeah, I like how GSC, you know, brings up different imagery for everybody else. A lot of people see, you know, Red Faction 2 or, you know, Communist Light, you know, very like unions and overthrowing the workers. When I saw GSC, I immediately saw GLA. As soon as I saw them, I was like, yep, that's the GLA, I want to play them. But I was already invested in a guard army at the time. But now I finally get to play them and I'm excited. I was worried I wouldn't like them. I was worried to be like the orcs where I spent like all this time and effort building all these orcs and I finally played them. I'm like, fuck, I'm not good with orcs. I don't really enjoy playing with orcs. There's nothing wrong with orcs. I'm just not naturally an aggressive, always be charging kind of guy. I played that way in 2nd edition Bolt Action by Japanese. I didn't really like it. I'm just much more of a, you know, hang in the back, do ambushes and stuff like that, especially for bolt action. So I was excited that I found an army that kind of matched that. That playstyle. Always go hand in claw. Yes, I love it. Funny joke. I like it. I think they do. I think regardless of no matter how good or bad it gets, I think Brood Brother Auxiliary will always be a good time. Depending on what you do. If you do like events and you don't want to get tabled all the time, no, it's probably not going to be fun for you. If you're just playing like chill stuff and you miss like old style guard, I think you'll like Brood Brother Auxiliary. And plus, good news, if you check out Wargaming Atlantic, they have those like basically they're like Tyranids almost, not Tyranids, but they're like yeah, they're like the little like skittering bugs. You can use those as pure strains, right? And so that makes the barrier to entry of taking a Brood Brother Auxiliary list as expensive as getting a couple boxes from Wargaming Atlantic. Let me drop a link to what I'm talking about here. Okay, yeah, it's literally just called alien bugs, and in one box you get enough to build 20 large bugs, and then you can even get 10 small ones if you really want to build them. And the box costs $40, so $40 for 20 guys. Yeah, they're called harvesters and alien bugs. So yeah, if you just want to tinker around with, you know, GSC, you want to see what it's like and you're not sure what to do, you could do your guardsmen as your neophytes if you want. You can buy those boxes of alien bugs, run them as pure strains, and then bring your Kasserkins, your Hellhounds, and your Lehman Russes. And because you don't have orders, I would run your Lehman Russes as just regular battle tanks. Alright, it's coming along, coming along. Turn this down so you guys can see a little bit of the work. So remember, once these are all done, especially the arm parts, still a little bit more to touch up, we hit it with a purple wash to kind of blend it all in, make it look less jarring and a little bit more organic. So we're still gonna hit the claws black. We're gonna use a different purple cloth for that wristband right there. Still not sure what we're doing with the sword. Hand in hand in hand. Nice. I like that. Okay, clever. Alright, once I finish touching this up, we'll take a small break while I drink more creativity juice. And then when we come back, we'll see if we can finish. My goal is to try and finish this model this stream. It may go a little bit later just to do that. We shall see. Alright. We'll just get that claw and then that purple band, and we will be good. So I'll have a nice long break to think about that sword. What do y'all think about just a green sword? Like maybe Aldari Emerald. And like nothing else in the army is that color, so it makes it look like extraordinarily rare. I think that's what we'll do. Nice. Alright. Let me fix that one hand. Pick out that bracelet. Hit those blades, hit the sword, and then take a break. I know I keep pushing back the break because I'm like, I gotta finish the model. It just gets so addicting. I like chatting with you guys and working on these models, you know, getting it fully painted, getting it finished. When you put it like that, I'm a fan. Oh, dude, I'm so glad you like them. If you like those, I have some buggies to send you. So I had one custom boosted blaster that's still in box. I'm gonna send that to my brother, because that bougie hoe, which I love to death, he's my brother, jokingly. But no, he likes GW models, so I'm gonna send him that one because it's an untouched custom boosted blaster, and then I'll send you a small box that has 3 different buggies in it that you can. Now you can run them as buggies, which is fine, but back then you could run them as like anything, you know. Yeah, sorry, Squid Fists, they're not very piratey, you know. But I figure you can just kit bash the pirateness into them as freebooters and paint them whatever way you want. They were very Evil Sons themed. Alright. So we are going to do this contrast, Luxian purple for our material. CV Cooper, I still owe you. I know you sent me some stuff, man. I still owe you on the back end. I gotta send you something. You let me know what you're on the lookout for. Alright, there's a little armband. I know it's a very similar color purple. You can barely tell. Yeah, hopefully by the time I'm done sending all my packages, you should be able to run a legit green tide. If you want to. right. Alright, so as you can tell, we went for the very classic blue, purple, black. A proper Space Hulk style. Gene Stealers. Yeah, that's the other cool thing, too. With them being freebooters, I mean, you can either paint them as freebooter pirates, or you can paint them as, like, every culture there is, because they all ended up leaving their clans to go work for the freebooters. So you can have, like, Death Skulls, you know, hanging off the side of a buggy trying to steal shit that's driven by an evil sun, you know? Well, no, I was very excited to see, he does some pretty good stuff for the GSC. Nathan, how's it going, by the way? But I was excited to see someone else kind of coming around to the side that there's nothing wrong with competition if that's the way you want to play, but not all of us use, to use his analogy, not all of us use dating apps, you know? Like, it's not... I think my favorite point that he brought up, Christian or whatever, the VTuber, is if you, especially for a team event, if you have 4 guys who are your friends, instead of playing a bunch of other randoms, just play a game with those 4 guys. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, you already have. All right, let's see how this green turns out. I'm kind of excited. Oh, fuck me running. This looks good. Oh, yeah. This looks good, like, putting your money in and getting a bag of Skittles out of any machine that drops 2 bags, and you're like, hell yes. It looks that good. Let me get a coat on here. I know I'm over here blue balling you on how it looks. Let me get a coat on here. I'll turn down the lighting for you and you can see it. Yeah, I've never used this color before. I don't know what I bought it for or why I bought it. But I can tell you right now, it was for this exact model, this exact weapon. Alright. I know, if you wanted to tease, you'll go back to prom, but alright, check it out. Yeah. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That looks awesome. Right? I'm gonna paint the hilt the same color. It's all just gonna be like one piece that he kind of got off his patriarch. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's a nice emerald shade. It screams Xenos, whether it's, you know, Tyranid, Eldar, Dark Eldar. This just screams Call the Death Watch twice. Yeah, that just looks like some shit. Like, I don't know what that does, but I probably don't want to get hit with it. You know what I mean? Like, you see some guy like running down an alley, you're like, what the fuck does he have? Like, I don't know. I'm not getting hit with that. It's like the weapon, you don't have to know what it does. You just don't want to get hit by it. So I did see someone doing guard on one of those big Warhammer channels, and he was trying to make Valks a thing, bless his heart, after they nerfed the hell out of him. But apparently what he was doing, I guess he took combined, was it combined arms or armored infantry? I can't remember, the one where you can give orders to squadron vehicles. I think it's like armored infantry. So he put his Cadian Castellan by himself in a Valkyrie and basically just used it like a JTAC, like a flying forward air control aircraft, you know, would just like order all the other Valkyries from that Valkyrie. That's kind of cool. As a former Air Guard player, I was pretty excited to see that. I was like, hey. They did not do well on the tabletop. Their weapons were just missing all over the place. It was bad. Alright, so here is our guy. I'm going to take a quick break. So he's got his needle pistol with scope. Backup auto pistol. He's got his bling on him. He's got some ammo. He's got his giant fuck off bone sword. And some claws. Yeah, he's looking like a warlord. He's getting there. All right, with that, I'm going to step away. I'm going to get something to drink, and I will be right back.
We hit the hair block fast, my hawks through the glass. Necromunda in our blood, boots on the ash. Show them forces in the crew, hives come to tank lines. Safe behind us, that's what we do. Blades tucked low, pistols in the coat. Take the side street, cut the throats, don't choke. War drums roll, roads open wide when the order comes. We light the night. Necromunda, breach, breach, breach. Necromunda, train killers each. Light fast through the maze, loyal to the guard and the emperor praise. We spot the armor first, clear the broken lane, draw them into back alleys, leave them in pain. Bright mohawks flash like a warning sign. Every block we own, one street at a time. Needle guns, hard stare, brother stay lethal. If one of us falls, we all go mental. Blaze tucked low, pistols in the coat. Take the side street, cut their throats, don't choke. War drums roll, roads open wide when the order comes. We light the night. 58 Necromunda, breach, breach, breach. 58 Necromunda, train killers each. Light fast through the maze, loyal to the guard and the emperor praise.
And we are back. Alright, that was a nice short, quick little break, and that allowed me to grab a drink. Now let's get back to working on our warlord here. Alright, they are mostly done. As I said, you can see the tear in the coat back there from where I broke it and damaged it. I need to hit the arms with the shade. Let me do that real quick, and then I need to do the basing. You there, fetch me a brush. I care not. I care not for. Oh, this'll do. With authentic battle damage. Absolutely. I'm excited to kit bash the Talaran Desert Raiders that Squid gave me and turn them into my Cadian recon teams. Even if I never use them on the tabletop, they just match the theme of my army so well, you know? Absolutely gotta have recon teams. Yeah, hopefully the little song in the break kind of helps reinforce a little bit of the lore. Still writing it up. There, where'd you go? There you are. So this is the shade we're gonna use on the Gene Stealer arms. Remember, they're ultramarine blue, their Gene Stealer purple, and blacks. We're gonna use this to hit it with, and that's gonna hopefully kind of blend it in a little bit better, so it's not as like jarring. One of my favorites, RK, is Brock's lip over. It's called like Brock's video of Rebecca Black's Friday. Holy shit, is that funny? It's like, slap, slap, my hand is a dolphin. I see, my friend. Get the fuck over here. At the end of the video, if I remember, I'll put a link to it so you guys can watch it after the video, stream. It's hysterical. And unironically, Rebecca Black, she had a bit of a glow up as she got older. I guess they spent that money on other things, but saw a picture of her the other day. I was like, oh, she looks nice. She looks like a nice lady, you know? So when you take out to a nice seafood dinner, definitely call back. See, that wasn't inappropriate at all. My hand is a dolphin. All right, there we go. So we have shaded the bottom arm, not the top arm. I gotta touch up some stuff on the top arm, then I can shade it. Then what we gotta do is just base it. Oh yeah, yeah. No, you're exactly right. That's what that was, and they bought her that for her present. You know, for like her 17th birthday present. You know, and then it got leaked online and went absolutely viral. Yeah, like the weird tracks that the guy jumped on, talking about hanging out with a bunch of kids. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, but no, look her up now. Yeah, she grew up. She looks different. That dude is even weirder. I know. So all we're doing now is just doing the shade a little bit on the arms, just trying to make it look less old hammerish, you know, where the colors were just like different, you know? There's like no real kind of like blending. I'm not a paint expert, but that's what I call it. I don't shade all my models, but I do shade this part to make it look a little bit more organic. So tepid did fail food inspection. I like that. Good line. Alright, now let's base them. Alright, so for our base, we do Abaddon black the whole thing, and then we go over the top part in Astro Granite. We let that dry, and then we hit it with a coating of Nolan oil, and then we re-rim the rim with Abaddon black. Hey, John Stewart, how's it going? Nice. Yeah, I think he talked about the Japanese invasion of the U.S. in that Comic 47 book. I caught it early, and I was talking to Mike Ties Flies about it, you know, so I didn't really watch morning stream. But the thing is, it's just going to be the same material, you know. But there's also an Orc Codex leak. If you check his stream discussion, you'll see a lot of the Orc Codex in there. I have a feeling we have to repaint his shoes, no matter how careful I am on this basing. Yeah, I know my stream is supposed to end in about 10 minutes, but I'm probably gonna go until I finish this model, if that's all right. I'd like to be able to have another done model. One stream, one model. I know it's not a very good numbers, but it is the warlord of the army, so it's actually kind of cool. Tomorrow we'll cover Seraid's chill rules, and we'll probably build a Cadian Castellan. So I need one built for my 500 points of Imperial Guard, so I can do some more testing of rules for my garage between 2 5-point armies. Okay, so let me ask you, Nathan, wise old head of the internet, what technically is a VTuber? Am I a VTuber? What counts as a VTuber? I thought it was anyone who uses a virtual display or virtual avatar instead of their face. So I'm focusing really hard on trying to get this basing just right and not screwing up his white shoes. They have a virtual avatar. So I am a VTuber, technically, correct? I have an avatar and he shows emotions. He can even be like quizzical, or he could be like angry, like look around and stuff like that, you know? So is a VTuber different from a PNG tuber? It's all about how animated their avatar is. Like, is Paul as bad at stuff? Is he a VTuber? Or is his just well animated? You say I lost my V card status. Nice. Alright, there we go. He pops a little bit better with that black base. Oh, fair enough. Alright. My goddamn Legion, you're a machine. A machine! Alright. Banned. You shall never set foot in my kingdom again unless you pay me 100 shekels. Oh, Nathan, how's the new DLC? How's the Crocodilian Coast? Is it Florida-tastic? That only took 7 hours to finish. Ooh, Cosmic sent me some stuff. Let's see what Cosmic sent me. Okay, Cosmic sent me unsolicited dick pics. Kidding, your heavy weapons team looks awesome. They look like a, your army Cosmic, your scavengers, whatever, they look like a really cool, like, third-party faction in a Command and Conquer campaign. You know? Like, and I mean that in the best way. They look really, really cool. Sending you my favorite Tiki. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I had to use a little app to get my Tiki to do things, you know? Like I said, I can always be quizzical and be like, I wonder what he meant by that. I could be more exciting, you know, like, They can always be like suspicious and look around. I don't know, I figure it's like the easiest way of doing it. Yes, more pictures. Are those salamanders, Matthew? They look awesome. Wait, no, they're not salamanders. Those are space wolves. They're like space wolves in salamander colors? I am so confused, but I am intrigued. 4 space wolves. Yep, there they are. I don't know. Isn't quizzical Tiki considered horny Tiki? I don't know. Just stick to being normal, I guess. Alright, I won't make you guys go through the whole process of waiting all that to dry and to base. Basing's pretty easy. I'll go ahead and finish that up and you guys will see it hopefully for the next stream. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good stream. I got the chat part out of the way very early on. I went on a whole ass rant. It was cool because, like I said, the reason why we're talking about VTuber is I put a post about Christian, the VTuber vampire guy. He was talking about how he's getting away from tournaments. Nothing's wrong with him. It's just he wants to play more, you know, chilled narrative style, which makes me happy because that means, hey, 40k chill wave, you know, it's catching on, it's spreading organically, which is awesome, just like a real Gene Stealer Plague should. And then I talked about my thoughts on it, you know, Warhammer 40k, and how I thought that, like most tabletop war games or tabletop RPGs, it needs to exist in the middle. You don't want to go too far competitive because that's how you get Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and War Machines. And you definitely don't want to go too far into the chill narrative, do whatever you want, because that's how you get with what the fuck happened to D&D with all the weird shit it went through from like 2020 on. It ain't coming back. It's in a bad spot. So you don't want to go full narrative. You want to hang out roughly in the middle. So that was my advice to GW. Ooh, let me see what Arcade sent real quick. Are you telling me to wrap up, Arcade? Are you gonna yank me off the stage? Is that what that is? Is that the long hook to pull me off the stage? Yeah, no, D&D got weird, man. It got real weird real quick. But yeah, that's my advice. Don't go full competitive. Don't go full narrative. There's like a nice space in the middle where you can like coexist. Leaning one way or the other is generally not gonna go well. His executions are awesome. That's awesome, Nathan. I can't wait to play it. Oh, it's Dick Van Dyke. Ah, there it is. But that was the stream. So I talked about that kind of early on, and then we focused on painting the Warlord for the Necromunda 58th, which is kind of cool. I still gotta finish basing him, you know, but we got him basically painted. The sword came out pretty cool and everything like that. I think once we get him based, we kind of turn the lights down. Here, let me turn the lights down for you now so you can kind of see him a little better. So Google Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice, if you want to know what he's kind of like based on, you know. He's got a white suit, blue shirt, all pastel, multiple guns, ammo pouches. But yeah, overall, it was a good stream. We chilled, we chatted, we chitted, we chatted, put out good vibes, and hopefully tomorrow we're gonna talk about some cool ways to incorporate into your 40k games, make them a little bit more chill. And we'll start chipping away at some of the more models in this 500-point list on our road to 2,000. So hopefully we get there. But as always, I hope you guys stay safe, stay hydrated. Don't forget to relax today, because you're on Tiki time.